Welcome to Radio Fixer's channel. Subscribe for upcoming videos. In this video, I will walk you step by step through how to troubleshoot and repair a GE Downdraft stove wrench. I will also cover what your options are if the PC board is no longer available from manufacturer. This particular model has a poor design by GE that I'm working on. The PC board is mounted directly under the wiring opening, which allows oil from the vent section to leak into the board. Over time, of course, this can damage the electronics or blow fuses. To prevent this from happening again, I will create a protective enclosure box for the PC board. Let's get started. And to make your job easier to find all these videos per category, select playlist, and each categories are located right here. So feel free to check it out. This is the GE vent system Downdraft. For one reason or another, it started making noise, then it stopped. As you see, it's not going down. I looked through this manual. Of course, it doesn't tell you how to repair or anything. So let me show you what I did underneath. So if you want to try to figure this out, at least you have something that you can follow. All right, let me show you the bottom. Of course, first thing you want to unplug this system. It's right there, that plug. All right, now we can get it started. You always want to be safe. Unplug them. There are 4 screws that they need to be removed, 2 here, 2 other side. So that unit need to come out, but also this need to be removed as well. So let's see how we can do this. Those are the screws, pretty small screws. Of course, underneath it was hooked up to the outside vent. When you remove that, then there is a cover here. This cover is a little tricky. There's a screw right here you need to remove. You get a screwdriver like this, and you start pushing it down, so it's gonna pop out. The motor is right here. You see with that bar, it raises up and down the vent. But let's first find out what the issue is. Why this was making noise on its own. I've been told, start making noise on its own. Then it went off and it stayed like this. So we need to figure these things out to see what's going on. All right? As I mentioned earlier, the system should be unplugged from the electricity to do any type of test. Now, what I did, I used my multimeter. There is 2 fuses here. There's one right there, as you see, and one other side. So when I did continuity check, this one is fine. The top is fine. The bottom, there is no sound at all. Since there was no sound, the multimeter, that means this fuse is bad. I cleaned all the grease everywhere. And the product I used to clean was this product with a toothbrush. This part was totally clean. Grease again was everywhere. This part is also clean. See, there's a wire here. See, it goes underneath. The oil was going inside and getting everywhere. So I'm going to seal it so that doesn't happen again. Let me do that. This is a very bad design by GE. The PC board set right under the wire opening, which is crazy. So oil leaked from the vent section and that blew a fuse. It could have easily damaged the board. I don't know what they were thinking about when they designed this. I will create a protective enclosure box for the PC board, so this doesn't happen again. And as always, take pictures and notes before disconnecting any wires so later on you can put it back together. I'm going to show you how to test the fuse since I was not able to show you under the counter. It's pretty hard under the counter. It's really pretty simple. You need a multimeter. You set it right under a sound, like here's a sound. So it doesn't matter which side. One goes this side, other side. You heard it? So that means this fuse is working. I reinstalled the bad fuse here just to show you, if there's a bad, you don't get any type of sound at all. See that? So this is a bad fuse. I just installed it to show you what happens if the fuse is bad. Really, option one is to replace the bad fuse. Get a small screwdriver, pop it out, replace it with the same value of the fuse. All the fuse are marked somewhere the size. Make sure to replace it with a proper size. Then of course install this inside some type of case, which I show you later in this video how to create one. Alright? If you replace the fuse and still the unit is not working and you don't have that much electronic background, look for another board like this. Every board has a number. Right here it will tell you what type of board you need. Let me show you how to track them down and what options you have to replace this. Alright? I suggest pretty highly to check with manufacturer to see if they still carry that part. Of course, if they have a part, you can purchase it direct from them. If they do not have those parts and is no longer available, you can check it on eBay and other places. And if they are not available those area, or if too expensive or so, you have other option. Let me show you what I did. It's best to go to ChatGPT or any type of AI search engine and put the information about your part and say where you can send this part to be repaired. That's what I did here. It said I want to mail it in, and here it give me a list of the companies that actually do this type of work. Of course, I do not know any of this company. I have not used them in the past. I suggest to do some research, look at the reviews, and also call them regarding your part to see if they can work on it or not. Here the good thing about it is suggests all this company and also give you the link, that you can select, and it takes you to that company. So again, each of them has that link, as you see, that you can actually check them out. Well, hopefully this information is going to help you. But I'm going to go through a little more detail. But you do not need to do this unless you have some electronic background. Let's check the board out to see what type of damage this board has. So there is something else going on in this board. Let me show you what's going on. You see, this is like oil. See right here? If you look at the start under here, it's coming down. It goes up to here. I'm going to remove this to see what's going on. Alright, I unsoldered it. This is a X2 225K safety capacitor. So I'm going to test it to see if this is okay or not. But let me show you what I found on the board. You see that oil that it dropped from the top, it continued. It went under this fuse, and you see how it continued all the way down? Hopefully you can see it. I'm assuming this oil caused a shortage, because this is one side of capacitor, another side of capacitor, and the oil touched both sides. I think maybe this created shortage and it burned out the safety capacitor. That's my assumption. I'm going to test this. Alright, let's check under the board. You see there's a bunch of parts there. I'm looking for discoloration. Usually this coloration shows there was some type of damage to that part. Now you know what I was talking about. This was a bad design of GE. You don't install a board like this somewhere that the oil from the top when you're cooking is actually can get to the system. So I just want to show you this. Again, for those of you who don't have electronic background, change the fuse, and if it goes bad again, I'll start looking for another part to replace this. All right? What I did, I test all these 3 capacitors, and they're all in good range. Of course, I use this type of capacitor tester to be able to read it since the capacitors are already installed on the board. If you want to use this type of multimeter to read the capacitor, you have to remove them from the board, unsolder them from the back, then you're able to test them. Those are the difference between these 2 capacitor testers. Hopefully this makes sense why I use this to test it. Let me quickly show you how you do it, of course. You find the pins that you want to test. You see that's 185, almost 186 microfarad, and ESR is 0.18. That's a good capacitor. And the good thing about this one is you can actually test the capacitor right on the board as well as give you the ESR reading. This is a book that it comes with that tester. That is how you figure out the ESR reading, if it's in good reading or not. You're going to come here, look at 220 microfarad. If I come across right here, our capacitor was 200 volts. So it's somewhere between these two, between 0.40 ohm to 0.34 ohm. As you saw, ours was much lower than that. That's how we know our capacitor ESR reading is good as well. All right. To clean this, I'm going to use a rubbing alcohol with a cotton swab and clean all this. I don't want to solder the new one back here, of course. I don't want to have same issue. We'll clean everything. I mean, it's very sticky. Man, I can't believe how thick this is. Let's clean all of it. As I mentioned earlier, it's a bad design. They could install this so many different places. So I'm just cleaning all the oil, make sure all the oils is out, and it's pretty thick oil, believe it or not. That might be the problem. Since when I test the capacitor was bad. So I'm going to order a new capacitor. See how there it is. I'm going to clean it a couple of times to make sure they're all out. Just want to show you, see, start coming out. See, it's much better now. They're all cleaned. All right. So I'm going to order this capacitor I mentioned earlier, and let's replace this and hope this is going to work. We already replaced this fuse with a brand new fuse. All right, I received the new safety capacitor. We're going to install it right here. Of course, I'm going to solder the back. See, these are the 2 areas I need to solder. Okay. All right, let's solder those 2. All right, they're both done. And let's create a case for this board so we don't have this issue again. What I'm going to do so this doesn't happen, I have one of these from the granddaughter toy, So I'm going to install this. I'm going to protect it inside here. So when the oil fall off from the top, it doesn't get to the electronic component. I don't know why manufacturer didn't do that. Anyway, that's what I'm working on. All right, I made this case for it. It just fit perfect in here, as you can see. So it's going to be right here. I made a hole here for where the water comes in. And also in the back, I put those 4 holes there. I use that soldering iron, put these 4 holes in the corners. So this is going to go in first. And then this goes right inside. Then the wire all going to be run. This way, you know, it's not going to leak any oil or any liquid in top of this unit to burn it out. Hopefully this is going to work. Let me install it. All right, as you see, I installed everything. The wire's all hooked up. So this plate's going to go in the front. It's going to cover everything. You know, again, I don't know why they didn't support it, why they installed it here. You know, they had more space back here. They could install this side or they could install other side, the opening, but no, they installed it right here. You see this wire goes inside, you know, it's going to leak. I already sealed that from inside. Hopefully this is going to stop the leak. This plastic is going to cover it pretty well. All right, I use this aluminum foil tape, I call it, you know, to tape everywhere here. As you see, all is installed. It takes a little while to put it back. I put this light here temporarily so I can't see. It's so dark here under the cabinet. So everything installed. Let's test it. Let's see if it's working or not. Let's see if I press it on, does it open up or not? Oh yeah, you hear it? Let's look at the top. Yeah, it's working. The fan is coming on. That's excellent. It's working. So if you look at the bottom, I can adjust the fan or go high. So it is working. That is awesome. That's awesome. Let's turn it off. All right, it's coming down now. All right, I guess this project is finished. Man. Anyway, this project is done. And let's move on to the next project. You know, when you own home, you know how it is. You constantly need to fix stuff. If you want to ask somebody else to come and fix it, they're going to charge arm and leg to do this type of work. I think the guy who installed this, just installation, I think charged her in 2015 around $600 to install all this stuff. I guess that's how much it was. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, we saved ourselves some money because these units are very expensive. Didn't want to spend that much money to, you know, replace all this. If it can be repaired, why not? At this time, I want to take the opportunity and thank my subscribers with their uplifting comments. You always encourage me to upload more videos, since this is just a hobby of mine. Again, I appreciate you. Enjoy all these videos, and you all have an awesome day. Take care. If you're interested to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and you will be notified when a new video being uploaded. You have a great day.